Hey y'all, this is Leslie. I have a word for you. I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but I have a word for you. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you've never been here before, welcome to the channel. A little while ago, I was about to do something. I don't even know what I was about to do, but I said, hold on a second, let me pray. And so as I began to pray, I was praying about provision, and I was probably like not even a minute into the prayer, and God gave me a vision. And the vision was someone eating a bowl of cereal, and the cereal was that post shredded wheat cereal, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like squares of wheat. And honestly, it don't look good to me. It don't look appetizing. It look like it don't have no taste. However, I knew that God wanted me to look up wheat and the significance of wheat, right? And so I looked up wheat in the Bible, and obviously wheat is a grain, and it's actually one of the three major grains in the world that we use to pretty much mass produce different types of food. That's wheat, corn, and rice. Okay, so wheat is one of those top three. And so I know God was telling me there is provision. What I was praying about, provision is coming. And I felt it really, really strongly, to the point that I started crying. And I'm like, why am I sitting up here crying about wheat? But it wasn't so much about the wheat. It was just that God was saying, I'm going to give my people what it is that they need. I'm going to provide for my people. And I believe that there's a lot of people who are currently in desperate situations, and it made me think of desperate situations where they need provision, right, that only the Lord can provide. And it made me think of in Genesis, where Joseph amasses an immeasurable amount of grain, wheat, while he's in Egypt, right? And coincidentally, I don't know how true it is right now, but what I read was that Egypt was or is one of the largest producers of wheat in the world. And so there was a famine, and people were coming from near and far to get this wheat that Joseph had amassed. And so much so that even his brothers, the very ones that had threw him in that pit to die, or he ended up being sold off as a slave, his 10 brothers, they ended up coming to Egypt, or wherever he was. I think it's Egypt, to be able to get some of this wheat, this grain, to be able to feed their families. Anyhow, when I looked up wheat, you know, I was just doing like a Google search as well. I knew that wheat was a large staple within a large staple crop within a lot of the foods that we eat. And so, you know, I'm looking, and of course, obviously wheat is in cereal. That's why the Lord showed me that little shredded wheat cereal. Wheat is obviously whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta. There's wheat flour, cookies, cakes, pastries, baked goods, things of that nature. You can find wheat in a lot of things that we consume, right? And so God was saying, like, I'm going to provide for my children, and not just a little bit, but an immense, immeasurable amount. Open your mouth and let the Lord know what you want. Like, I don't know who is in search of, in need of, in desperate need of, and I don't even feel like you have to necessarily be in desperate need of. I feel like this is something he was impressing upon me, is like, you're my child, I'm going to give you what you need. Like, whatever the need is, the desire, I'm going to feed you, not only physically, but also spiritually. And then even in looking into wheat, I saw that there are many ailments, if you will, that wheat helps to get rid of or control. Like I said, it controls obesity. When I was pregnant with my second child, I ended up having gestational diabetes for a few months, and I was able to get it under control with diet, right? And that looked like me eating whole wheat grain breads and pasta and things of that nature, instead of the white bread, or, you know, using things that used wheat flour. You get what I'm saying? Like, wheat plays a role in obesity, diabetes. I believe it said that it helps control and regulate your metabolism. It helps with different types of cancers. It helps with childhood asthma. It helps with women's gastrointestinal health. it was just a whole lot of things. I can't remember everything, but in saying all this, I'm like, okay, God, I hear what you're saying. And to like bring the coup de grace, to culminate all of that together, he led me to a scripture, and I wrote it down to read it. He led me to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 7 through 10. And this really had me, this had me choked up. I've read this before, but you know, when God gives you like a revelation or understanding, or he applies it to whatever, the vision, the dream, whatever he's saying to you. And it's like there's scripture for everything, child. But anyhow, this is Deuteronomy 8, verses 7 through 10. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land with streams, springs, and deep water resources, flowing in both valleys and hills, a land of wheat, barley, grapevines, figs, and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land where you will eat food without shortage. Didn't I just say something about that famine? Where you will lack nothing. Didn't I just say something about a famine? A land whose rocks are iron, and from whose hills you will mine copper. When you eat and are full, you will bless the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. This is what I'm talking about with this provision. The very first thing, a land of wheat. Now, we usually hear of a land of milk and honey, but he done took it even further. He said, I'm not just giving you milk and honey. I'm not just giving you sweet things, which these are also spiritual foods, if you will, physical foods and spiritual foods. But I'm giving you wheat, barley, grapevines, figs, pomegranates, olive oil, honey. These things are found in a lot of the different meals that we eat, and have great medicinal purposes or and health benefits. That's what I'm trying to say. Medicinal benefits, health benefits. Wheat, a land of wheat. I was like, Lord, stop playing. A land of wheat. I feel like when he was saying this to me, I felt like he was saying, get ready for the wheat wave. Now I'm sitting out here in this heat. It's what is the temperature? I don't know what the child is. It's 100 and something. How about that? I'm sitting out here in this heat wave, and God was like, it's about to be a wheat wave. I'm going to bring my children all that they need, an abundance, an overabundance. Joseph had an overabundance. He had so much wheat, he had so much grain, that he was able to feed all the people that came and still had more left over. He was a wise steward. Remember, this is the man who was a slave. His own family didn't want to fool with him, was jealous of him, hated him because of the dream of the Lord that he continued to have, that showed that he would be leading them, which he did do in the end. But he was able to, after going from the pit to the palace, y'all know that, he was able to become second in charge to Potiphar, I believe. And he was over Potiphar's house, and I can't remember the word that they gave him, but basically he was an administrator of things of this nature, right? The provision, the resources, we'll say, of Egypt at that time. Now this man that came out of prison, now he over the resources. Only God, right? God is going to give us Joseph-like provision. You are his child. Why wouldn't he do it for you? Why wouldn't he do it for you? Like, God don't want us to be out here having nothing. Why would he want those of the world who don't even believe him? And somebody told me, you know, that there's a difference in being just because God made all of us, but there's a difference. Some are his creation, but then there are some who are his children. Okay, we're all his creation, but only some are his children. He's gonna feed his children. He's gonna get us together. He's gonna get us right. There are some of you that have a deep, definite need, right? And you need to go to God with that need. He's going to supply that need. You will get the wheat wave is coming, honey. The wheat wave is coming. And it's crazy because a couple years ago, God was talking to me about famine and saying that there's a famine coming. But I truly believe with all my heart that if you are a sold out, blood-bought believer, you are a child of God, a child of the Most High, you ain't gonna have to worry about that famine. I believe that the wheat wave is coming for those that are his. Okay, and that's the word. Love y'all. Bye.